All right, what is up, guys? VV back with another video, and in today's video, guys, we're gonna be kind of brainstorming. I want to hear what you guys have to say. I want to hear y'all's thoughts, y'all's ideas on the concept of sideboarding. What is sideboarding? So, for those who don't know, let me just say what sideboarding is up front. Don't worry, we will be looking at different websites and stuff that talk a little bit about it. But what sideboarding is, in general, is you have a side deck outside of your main deck. So in One Piece, you have a 50-card deck, right? That's what you have in One Piece. You have 10 Dawn cards and then a leader. Well, how nice would it be if you also had 10 other cards that are just, like on the side that you could put in and out according to each matchup? And only 10. I think 10 would be the right number for One Piece, because 15 is the number for 60-card decks, typically speaking. Like in Magic the Gathering, you have a 60-card deck and then a 15-card sideboard. Okay, that's good, So in other words, if I'm, let's just say I have a more control deck, right, where it's kind of hard to deal with the faster aggression decks. Okay, well, no problem. I will sideboard in cards to help that specific matchup. And at the time of me recording this video, guys, like, let me scroll up. I know I'm just kind of randomly going through these videos. Like, these are just random thumbnails of mine, of all my videos. And at the time of me recording this video, there's three big boogeymen of the current format, right? You've got Enel, Sakazuki. Where's my Sakazuki? There it is. So like, you got Sakazuki here. You've got Enel. And then you've got Purple Luffy. And there is like Yellow Katakuri as well, and Red Purple Luffy, even Red Purple Law's kind of like a dark horse. There are dark horse decks that come in and can really wreck shop, right? But the idea is there's really this three main decks: yellow, purple, and blue. Those are like the three main decks right now that really do some damage. Like I said, Sakazuki, Enel, and Luffy. Okay? Now, with that in mind, that is good, right? That does show that the game is balanced to a very large extent. However, one thing that you really want to avoid when designing a game, and you want it to be at like the highest level, when you're designing a game, you don't want it to be where, oh, I just went into my worst matchup, so now I automatically lose, right? That's the problem. That is something that I feel like, I'm not saying One Piece is there, by the way. I'm not saying it's just a straight up 100% loss rate against your worst matchup. But it is pretty unfavorable. Let's just be honest. It's a pretty large advantage. And let me say this too. I think there should be an advantage. Like, for example, I think the rock, paper, scissors, rock beats scissors, scissors beats paper, and paper beats rock. I think that is how you should design your game. That is something that should be in your game. However, I don't think it should be an auto loss like it is in actual rock, paper, scissors, right? Because you're designing a game. In rock, paper, scissors, the actual game, right, where you do with your hands, rock, paper, scissors, shoot. That is literally total luck, total randomness for the most part, and whoever wins, that wins. What shouldn't be like that in a truly competitive sense with something like One Piece or Magic or Lorcana, whatever game you're playing, I don't know, right? So we're going to talk about that, guys. We are going to talk about that today. So before we dive straight into it, you always got to give credit where it's due. Let me zip up to the top here. And I got today's video idea from someone I do follow. His name is TCG, and that's his @ as well. You can go find him, and I'll have a link down in the comment section below. Definitely go check this guy out. But he released a video about a day ago now. I think it was really like, it's probably almost 2 days ago now, but it was at least a day ago, and he talks about top 3 changes he wants to see in the game. So definitely go check that video out if you have not already. And just for the record, no, I don't know this person. I just watch his channel from time to time, especially when he has One Piece content. I follow, a lot of all these channels on the left here. If you look on the left of the screen here, all of these channels are pretty much just yeah, these are all One Piece channels. I think literally every single one of them. And then some are like multiple things, like TCG is One Piece and whatever other card games like Dragon Ball, Super, and I think he also does like Battle Spirit Saga and probably a few others, I believe. But anyway, he's got that going on. The Eggman, he also does a bunch of really good stuff where he does like, let me go to his videos. He does Digimon, One Piece, and Dragon Ball. Those are I think those are his 3 main ones, but he also is looking at Union Arena now and stuff like that. And one more that I want to mention, it was the Eggman, Uni, and Wasi plays. If you guys don't, I'm sure most people who follow my channel already follow these guys, but they have just tons and tons of One Piece content, and then a few other things. Like, see, here's like Lorcana for Wasi plays. He has Lorcana on here. I think this is that new Union Arena game. I could be wrong. Or no. I don't even know what this is. Oh, Universus. Excuse me, Universus. So they handle all kinds of stuff. But I will say it seems like the main part of their focus is One Piece. And I say all that just to mention real quickly that might be a direction that my channel goes, because that was my original intent. So this is my About Me section that I put out all the way back on when I joined in May 25th, 2023, as you can see right here. I made this part right here. I've added a little bit of things since then, like the community Discord, and definitely join that if you want to hang out and chill and chat on Discord and talk One Piece. You're more than welcome on there. And then there's Patreon and PayPal stuff for people who like to help support people. But notice what my About Me is up here. This channel is dedicated to TCGs that I play and enjoy. One Piece ended up just becoming the one that I enjoyed the most, and it overshadowed Lorcana and Flesh and Blood, which these were the three main card games I was looking to get into. Like I said, One Piece, Lorcana, and Flesh and Blood. Lorcana kind of dipped away for me. I didn't really, I wasn't really feeling it after a while. And then I was looking at potentially soon looking at Alpha Clash, Grand Archive, or Digimon. And if you see any other games on here that you like, or you might want me to start talking about, tell me. So tell me in the comment section below, because then I can start covering other things as well. And don't worry, guys. The number one focus of my channel will, for the foreseeable future, it will be One Piece TCG. Because number one, it became what everyone wanted to see on my channel, the people that do follow me, and it is my favorite game, right? It is my favorite TCG. It's just that simple. I really enjoy it. There's a reason I went all in on One Piece as opposed to Lorcana or Flesh and Blood, or any of these other games like Magic, Hearthstone, Dragon Ball, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Vanguard, all this other stuff. I never really got into some of those because I wasn't really feeling them like I really enjoy One Piece. It wasn't the same. So don't worry. Whatever I do in the future, One Piece will still be the major focus of this channel. And if I were to take on, let's just say Flesh and Blood, if I were to take on another game, I would still be putting out 7 videos a week on One Piece. Like, I don't think that will change. Or maybe I'll go down to 6 and then put in one of whatever the other game is people might want to hear from me about. But I could see in the future, especially when it's summertime, of doing 7 videos a week of One Piece and then 1 extra video of whatever the other game is. So again, no worries, guys. Don't be alarmed hearing me say that I want to expand the channel. Okay, and I want to hear what you guys have to say about that. Do you like that idea or do you not like it? What game would you like to see me cover as well? And then I can look into it. Now I'm not going to make any promises that I'm going to, but if there's like an overwhelming majority of people in the comment section that are like, dude, you should start covering, Digimon or something, or Grand Archive. If I see a lot of support for it, then I'll at least look into it. Again, I can't make any promises, but I'll at least look into it. Okay, so just to get that out of the way, so I mentioned all that to mention, or to give credit again to the Eggman channel, UniX TCG, and Wasi Plays, because what they're doing is really what I have like the biggest focus on, is expanding my channel into a few other games. Not many, but a few other TCGs. So really cool stuff there. Definitely check them out if you haven't already. And like I was saying for this video, definitely check this guy out, UniX TCG, for this video right here, and see what you think about his ideas for competitive and design changes in the One Piece TCG that he wants to see happen. So yeah. All right. So back to today's video. I'm going to be talking about sideboarding. We're going to talk about sideboarding. First, we're going to read the definition of a few sideboards. Don't worry. It won't be, this won't take too long. First is in Magic the Gathering. So a sideboard is a group of additional cards the player may use to modify their deck between games of a match. Specifically between games, so not at the beginning of the game, between them. The player may use these cards in their main deck during all games after the first one in a match. So what does that mean? Like, what's going on there? So in Magic, like I said, you have a 60 card deck. Let me see if they've got the numbers up somewhere on here. If they don't, it doesn't really matter. But the idea is you'll have 60 cards in a deck and then 15 additional cards in your sideboard. And when you go into a game, now understand this, Magic the Gathering this game, Magic the Gathering, this is a best-of-3 format. Okay, they use a best-of-3 format, typically speaking, for their standard constructed game format. Okay, I don't know how Commander is. Don't ask. You'll have to look that up yourself. I have no idea, because I know that's a very popular method of play right now. But for standard constructed, you have a 60-card deck and a 15-card sideboard. The first game you play in a best-of-3, you have to use your 60-card deck. Then, after that, you can do sideboarding. Okay? So that's, very important to understand. Now, I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Has something very similar to this. I don't know how official or legit this one is. This is just on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Wiki, some type of fan page for it. But it says pretty clearly, and it sounds like it makes sense. I don't know if it's right or not, but it makes sense. It says a side deck is a deck for up to 15 cards, separate from the main deck and an extra deck. The side deck is used in matches between duels to alter the contents of the main deck or extra deck. A side deck is not required, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so let's actually bring up, so their main deck and extra deck, I just want to see how many cards are in it. And I know you guys probably all know the answer to that, but I have no idea. And it looks like it doesn't even say on the front. Oh, here it is. A minimum of 40 cards and a maximum of 60, right? So that's interesting because like in, in One Piece, you just have to have exactly 50 cards, which I actually don't like that. I wish you could have 50 plus cards up to 60 or something, or up to 55, or have like a small cap on it. But sometimes I've wanted to make a deck like 51 cards because I just want to add one extra 2K counter or something. You know what I mean? But anyway, y'all tell me what y'all think about that as well. And then here's the extra deck that I want to read about, because this is not what I'm talking about. I'm not going for an idea like this, but I want to read it just so y'all know what I'm talking about. The extra deck, formerly known as the Fusion deck, is a deck where all these different types of cards are stored during a duel. And I'll just read the mechanics real quick on it because it'll explain it. And don't worry, guys, we're not going to be talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm just explaining what the extra deck is. The extra deck is separate from the main deck and contains combinations of all these different cards. And during the game, it is placed face down in the extra deck zone, and a player can special summon their stuff from there. Okay, so very cool. We're not really going for that, right? But the sideboard, I think, is a good option for us. Because like I was saying, I mentioned it in the beginning of the video, it is very good that our format is the way it is right now, where you have like Enel, Sakazuki, and Purple Luffy. That is good. That is fine, because that's like your standard, like I said, like rock, paper, scissors. That is very healthy. However, you don't want it to be where blue-black Sakazuki just always beats Purple Luffy, or Purple Luffy always beats Enel, or Enel always beats Sakazuki. And I'm not saying they do. I'm not saying they do. I'm just saying it is something we have to make sure of and be careful of. And remember, everything I just said there is talking about the top 3 decks. If you were to introduce a sideboard, well, now all of a sudden, a deck like Rosinante, Blue-Green Rosinante, or Red-Black Sabo might just be incredible, right? Like, they might actually be able to compete at the highest levels more consistently, right? And have more, and that's the thing, right, is consistency. And that's what a sideboard helps, is allow your deck to perform at a more consistent rate, okay? Now, how would we do that, though? So how do we incorporate a sideboard into a best-of-1 format, right? Because that's the issue at hand here. And that's where Flesh and Blood comes in with a pretty amazing idea. And is it really a bad idea to draw inspiration from other card games? Like, I don't think it is. Whether you like this game or not, I don't care if you like their game. That doesn't matter. You know, that's fine if you don't like the game. I don't care. But do they have a good idea or not, right? That's the premise of what I'm saying here. So in this game, Flesh and Blood, due to how Flesh and Blood games are played, players do not start with a predetermined deck. They select their deck cards from the card pool during the start of game procedures. So you see, this is going to happen before the game starts. You sit down from your opponent, you reveal your hero. In that game, it's called a hero. In One Piece, it's your leader. And then, listen to what happens. In Classic Constructed, it says, for example, in Classic Constructed, you have a non-young hero and an 80-card pool. So from these 80 cards in your pool, you select at least 60 to become your deck in the game. And in that game, you have to have at least 60 cards. It's like how Magic is, where you have to have a 60-card deck. But you hear how that's worded. So in other words, I sit down from the other side of my opponent. So let's just say I'm playing Black Yellow Linlin, right? Let's just say I'm playing Black Yellow Linlin. And I'm going against Sakazuki. Okay, so me and him sit down from each other. Hey, how you doing? Hope you're having a good tournament. Okay, we reveal our leaders. Oh, you're playing Sakazuki. Okay, very cool. So now you'll take your 60 cards, or let's say it's, well, yeah, 60, right? So in the case of One Piece, I think you should have a 50 card main deck and these extra 10 cards on your sideboard, right? Or a part of your side deck, or however you want to call it. And then you'll basically just remove 10 cards you don't want from the 60 card list, and there's your deck. So now all of a sudden, if I'm going against Sakazuki, I can take out certain cards that are probably not going to be very good against him. Like maybe Fukuro, right? Fukuro is a good example like of what I've been running in. And I'm working on a control list. Don't worry, guys. I'll have that out probably soon for a black-yellow Lin list. And as as a lot of people know, certain cards are just not good in a Sakazuki, and certain cards are just incredible in a Sakazuki, right? And that's kind of the idea there. Or just another example is like this. Say I'm going into an L. Say I'm about to play an L. Well, if I make it late game against an L, I pretty much have the game in the bag, because I get to stay at 2 life and he only gets to stay at 1 life. I have Charlotte Lin, he doesn't. The 10 Lin, of course, not 7 Lin. Well, if that's the case, then I could cater my list to be more top heavy so that I can get to the late game, or maybe the opposite stream. Maybe I want to go more aggressive so that I can just rely on my 10 Lins. You get the idea, guys, and that'll all come with play testing, and it depends on the format and whatnot and how things change. But back to what we were saying, what do y'all think? I shouldn't even say back to what we're saying. I want to know what y'all think. What do y'all think about the idea of including a sideboard? I think it's what should have been there. I've been wanting this for a while, and I think it would actually help the game. I actually think it would help the game. Because think of it like this. There are certain decks out there that just do very, very good into most of the format. But then there's that one deck that stops them. And now there's no reason to even play it. And we don't want that to be the case. And I'm not saying that's like, I'm not saying this is some huge problem in One Piece. One Piece will be fine without the sideboard for the, probably for the foreseeable future, unfortunately, right? Well, I don't want to say unfortunately, but y'all know what I mean. Like, I want to see a sideboard come into play. But it'll probably be fine for quite some time. However, I do think that a sideboard would benefit the competitive scene and help towards consistency, number one, and deck variety, number two. I think that'd be really interesting, really cool. Right, guys, I don't want to ramble on for too long. I just wanted to get that idea out there. What do y'all think about it? Do y'all think sideboarding is a good idea? Or do y'all think that One Piece should look to including sideboards in the future? And, and of course, when I mean sideboard, it's a best of one format, right? So we're talking about this model, where, in other words, you'll have your 1 leader, your 10 Dawn cards, and then a 60-card deck that you can only use 50 cards from every match, and you'll know which cards to take in and out of as soon as you see who you're playing against, right? When you both reveal your leaders, okay, these are the 50 cards I'm going to take, or really specifically, here's the 10 cards I'm going to take out, and let's have our game, right? All right, so that's about it, guys. If you have any other ideas, by all means. I wanted to talk a little bit about mulligans and dice rolls. I just want to know what y'all's thoughts are on the mulligan. Is it pretty? I think the mulligans are pretty good as is. But when you're talking about sideboarding, I feel like the sideboard, the mulligan, and the dice roll, they're all just one and one. They all go hand in hand. And one other thing I wanted to mention, I'm sorry guys, I almost forgot about it, is the dice roll. I personally think, you ready for this? Unpopular, this is an unpopular idea. But I think whoever wins the dice roll goes first. That's how I think it should be. Instead of like, oh, I won the dice roll, so now I'm going to choose to just counter whatever your deck wants. I get the logic behind it, don't get me wrong, and it's all at the end of the day, it's all random. But I think Digimon and a few other card games use the dice roll as just a straight up, like, okay, you're going first. If you win the dice roll, you go first. It is what it is. I just think that'd be interesting, to be honest. Maybe I like that idea because I lose every dice roll. I don't know. Maybe, not, you guys know what I mean. You don't lose, no one, it's impossible to lose every single dice roll, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I just think that's better. So that way there is no concept of, okay, I'm going to choose to go second to counter their deck, or choose to go first to slow them down, or whatever. All right. Okay, guys, that's it. Hope y'all enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you have not already. Y'all tell me what y'all think down in the comment section below. And, yeah. Until next time, guys. Peace.